Hey, Brad. We're super excited to have you on the Growth Game podcast this week. We really appreciate you joining. We know you've been in the business for 20 plus years, I think just with pure staffing or so around there. Can you kind of walk our listeners through what the journey's been like as far as your staffing career and with pure staffing?
Yeah, for sure. Well, firstly, thanks so much, Greg, for having me. It's really a pleasure to be on. It's nice to be on the other side of the table as well. I'm usually the one
Yeah.
that's asking the question, so it's good to be on the other side. 20 years. I guess I should say that time flies when you're having fun, right? It's been a total wild ride of where I started to where I am now and what we're doing now. I guess, to give you a better idea, I'll rewind it way back to when I first graduated university. I graduated in 99 from Laurier University in Canada, in Waterloo. And I graduated with having absolutely no idea what I wanted to do. So I kind of fell into the insurance industry on the marketing side. Wasn't in sales, just on the marketing side. Marketing disability insurance. Was I passionate about it? Absolutely not. Was it a job at a university with a big company where I got good experience? Sure, it was great. And while I was doing that, I actually kind of had a little bit of a side hustle going on doing some day trading. It was 1999, and any technology stock that you touched went to the moon. So I thought I was like the greatest trader in the world. So as I was working, I was doing a little bit of trading as well, and I figured out how to set up like real time streaming quotes. And this is kind of at the beginning of the internet. I crashed the internet at our office as well because of the technology that I was doing while I was doing all this trading. And it was big bucks that was getting made at that point, because yeah, everything was just going to the moon. So I was doing that, and then I decided that I disability insurance wasn't for me, and product marketing wasn't for me. The other thing I didn't like about that job was that I had to shave every day, and I had to wear a suit and a tie, and except for
Yeah.
on like casual Fridays. I know things have changed quite a bit since then, but I couldn't stand that as well. I bought a portable shaver so I'd shave in the car and drive into the
Yeah.
office, and then I actually got written up by my casual Friday being a little too casual. So that just kind of showed the stuffiness of the industry. But then when I made the decision that it wasn't going to be for me, I actually had a job lined up to be a broker with Merrill Lynch. So I resigned from that job at the insurance company and left. And I met my friend in Southeast Asia to travel around for a few months before, because the job was delayed when it was going to start. And then I came back to start the job, and lo and behold, it was the meltdown of the 1999 technology, and they told me that job was no longer. So I pivoted to start trading on my own, wake up in my boxer shorts and hang out at the computer screen all day and do some trading. I did that for another probably about a year and a half. And then that kind of went sideways as well. I mean, it was gambling. And I was just kind of gambling every day. And then I decided it's time to find something new. So I had a friend that was actually in the recruiting space at that time, and I saw his company. I saw the inefficiencies of his company, and I saw the true potential that they had. So I actually went and I arranged a lunch meeting with the owner of his company. I still remember it to this day. And I went and I basically pitched him. I said, hey, this is kind of what sucks about your company, and this is what you can improve, and this is what I can bring to the table. And then the next day I had a job offered, and I started. So it was actually pretty. I kind of made my own opportunity there. I did not know a thing about the recruiting business when I went in. And nobody decides to go into the recruiting business. It's really just kind of something that everybody falls into, right? Like
Yeah.
it's not like it's the be all and the end all for people who are going through school. It's usually having a contact, knowing somebody, and a friend suggesting that it's a good space to be in is how you get into it. So that's how I got into it. And I worked as more of an operations manager. I actually got to give myself a title, so I named myself the managing director of this
Nice.
company, which was a lot of fun. Yeah, and so I basically helped modernize this company. It was kind of the years of when the internet was just coming in, and recruiting was changing in that sense. So I did that for about a year and a half, and then I didn't really see eye to eye ethically with the owner of this company. So I decided to go out and build the better mousetrap. right? It's not like I did anything revolutionary when I started Pure Staffing. What we did is that we just took a look at some of the best companies that were out there at the time and mimicked it, and
Yep.
just and we were able to I guess we were able to provide a better service, and we had a pretty good niche. We do primarily skilled trades, working with manufacturing companies like food, pharmaceutical. We were dabbling in the oil and gas industry for quite a while as well, until that melted down in 2008, and we kind of cycled back to Ontario and got more into the automotive and the food side of things. But it's not super sexy like the IT business or like banking, but it's been super steady for us. So we've had 20 years of, I shouldn't say continuous growth, because I mean there's been a
Yeah.
couple of trying years in there, but I mean we've been recognized with some profit 100 lists, and some of the fastest growing companies in Canada lists, and some of those things. So there's been good years, and there's been bad years, but it's been a heck of a ride, and it's been a lot of fun for the 20 years that we've had Pure Staffing, for sure.
Very cool. I relate with that, just like early days being scrappy and getting into a position that you don't necessarily feel 100% ready for. I was a carpenter before I got into the finance business. And
Wow.
so it was a big jump in just direction and what I was doing. But I feel like, be able to see inefficiencies, like you said, and critical thinking skills and different things like that, go a long way, even if you don't necessarily have like specific industry experience.
Oh, totally.
So
Yeah, totally. And I'm
yeah,
yeah, and I'm a firm believer that, like, at the end of the day, you hire the person, you don't hire the degree, right? You don't necessarily need your background. You need good people to steer your ship, and then things can be taught. Things can be learned. So you
exactly.
you as a carpenter, I mean, you've got all kinds of transferable skills there, and at the end of the day, it comes down to kind of your work ethic and your ability to hustle.
Exactly. And so it was interesting. You talked about how like you could see very early on like different inefficiencies and different things with recruiting business that you had joined to help. How have you found that your, I guess skills as a manager, your innovation as a manager has helped you kind of navigate all of the ups and downs that the staffing industry inevitably has and businesses inevitably have, and kind of, just along the same lines of like hiring for the person, what kind of different ideologies do you have regarding management and innovation, that kind of thing?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, innovation is so key for business. I mean, it's kind of the innovate or die kind of thing. Like, and
Yeah.
our innovation when we first started is that we use the best technology that was out there at the time. It was a company called HireDesk out of Vancouver. I think they since got bought by Telemetry and went through a bunch of different things, and I'm not even sure what they're doing now, but they had
Yeah.
the resume parsing technology, which was cutting edge. Like, it can extract information and pre-populate your database. So we went hard on this, and we paid a lot for a company that was just starting up, but it was well worth the investment in that. So we wanted to latch on with companies that were innovative and that were kind of cutting edge in the technology, and power our company based on these companies. So we used them for quite a while. So that was kind of our first step of innovation, because a lot of people weren't using this kind of technology. This is still
Yeah.
back in the days where a lot of companies were still using filing cabinets with paper
Yeah.
resumes. We were cutting edge and innovative there. And as we grew, I mean, we kind of innovated in the services that we offered. We started off with direct hire, and then went into contract and temp and payrolling, and just different services there. But then some of the
Yeah.
biggest innovation that we had probably came about, I think it was about 6 years ago now, when, or maybe even, it's actually rewind 7 years. So 7 years ago, we tried outsourcing, and we tried offshore some of our recruiting work. We failed miserably. We fell on our face. We used a company that was over in India. I flew over and checked it out and met everybody, and wanted to show, like, hey, we want to really put an effort into this, and wanted to
Yeah.
show that we really cared. We totally failed. They didn't understand the Canadian market. They didn't have the same work ethic necessarily that we had, and we didn't really have ownership over what we were doing, and we weren't able to provide the direction to the people that they needed in order to succeed. So we totally failed. We tucked our tail between our legs and walked away and chalked it up as a costly learning experience. But then a year later, we decided, like, you know what, it's time to start doing this on our own. So we went over and actually incorporated our own offshore company in Chennai in India, and we started our own outsourcing company. And it started off with just pure recruitment process outsourcing, where we were recruiting out of India for positions in Canada. And then it started evolving and innovating. And then we started offering digital marketing services. And then we started doing software development. And and fast forward a few more years, and 3 years ago, along the lines of innovation, we developed our own software product platform called Credible, which is background check, automating background checks and reference checks, and it also does lead generation for recruiting companies. We know what we need, and it
Yeah.
can get you clients for sales, and it can also help get you and generate the passive candidates for you, and all of that software development came out of India and out of our outsourcing company. We've been innovative, and we were pretty lucky with our timing in order to set up our operation in India. Because now, I mean, a lot of people are going over there. COVID has
Yeah.
accelerated that. They've realized that, like, if someone's going to be working from home from a suburb of Toronto, why can't I get someone who's a lot better working from an office offshore? Like, it's
Yeah.
not like you
Yeah.
have that office connection. So I'm finding that people are getting a lot more receptive to that and realizing that you can get a lot more bang for your buck. But at the same time, it solved a lot of problems for us, because we were having a tough time getting labor, in getting our own recruiters and our own employees to come to our office in Toronto.
Yeah.
And the cost of living in Toronto is quite high. So the
Yeah.
cost of employees is in turn quite high as well. So that was a big problem that we solved there. So we got a much larger pool of employees. Yeah, I mean, it's such a massive country, and there's so
Yeah.
many skilled people there. And the other problem that we solved is that we could have workers who are working 24/7 around the clock.
Yeah.
So we have a night shift that's going on over there, but then we could also have a day shift of sourcers that were just only looking through resumes and populating the database and feeding everything and getting it all ready for our recruiters. So yeah, so in terms of innovation, yeah, you really have to innovate, and we've been innovating since kind of day one. And what's next? I don't know. Well, I guess I do know what's next is that
Yeah.
we aggressively start reselling these services, that we start reselling the offshore company, which is called Bumsa, and we start reselling
Yeah.
the Credible services. I mean, we do have people who are using them right now, and quite a few people who are using them, but they're
Yeah.
just all networking friends of mine who have kind of approached me, and it's just kind of word of mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't gotten
Totally.
that. So 2024 will be kind of actively selling that and growing that side of the business, because there's a huge opportunity, like a really huge opportunity.
No doubt. That's awesome. Seems like you guys are just like going after solving the problems yourself if you don't see the solution readily available. It's such a cool way innovation happens.
Yeah,
Are you
exactly. That's
seeing
exactly what it was.
Yeah. Over the last few years, I know like technology seems to be just increasing and increasing exponentially all the time. And with AI coming online, it's kind of still early stages for a lot of people, and companies are just slowly kind of dabbling into that. Are you seeing how AI is going to affect the staffing and recruiting business? And I could see a lot of probably use cases with processing resumes and all these different things as the technology continues to progress. But I would love to hear your take on that.
Oh yeah, AI, it is mind blowing. Like, what it's done, and how far it's even come in just this short period of time, right? Like ChatGPT. When you think AI, you kind of think ChatGPT. Well, I
Yeah,
do.
yeah,
I
for
do, at
sure.
least.
I do too.
That's kind of the AI. I mean, like, we're less than a year in, but we use it.
Yeah,
We use it for our digital marketing team. We use it like crazy. It does, as you
yeah,
know. I mean, content creation is massive right now. It's all about creating content because you want to be found. You want to be the one that's
Yeah.
optimized, and you want to be the one that's found. So we're using ChatGPT to not only for us but for our clients that we're working with to help develop content. Now, is it the be all and the end all for doing it? No. You still need the human element. You need the human element on the prompt engineering side, the one who's
Yeah.
giving the instructions to the AI, but then you also need it on the proofreading side and the proofing side to make sure what you are putting out there isn't complete BS, and that it really makes
Exactly.
and doesn't sound like a computer is talking to you. Because I get
Yeah.
so many emails every day that it's like, oh my god, like this is so painful. Like, I hope this email
Yeah.
finds you well. Like, thank you so much,
Yeah.
ChatGPT, for writing me this email. So I think it's
Yeah.
a fine balance.
Exactly.
It's a fine balance of
Yeah.
how you use AI and how you leverage it. So I think that you still need the human element for it as well. So we're using ChatGPT to support the digital marketing side, but we're also using AI is built into our ATS and our CRM. We use Tracker,
Yeah.
and
Cool.
they're rolling out all these AI features, mainly just writing job descriptions, but they're kind of building on it, and it's getting better and better every day. And then also with the software that we developed, Credible, for the reference check and the background check, we use AI to help generate questions based on the industry that you're checking the reference for. So yeah, so I mean,
Yeah.
it's super prevalent, but I still think we're really just at the tip of the iceberg of what's going to happen. Like,
Yeah.
I think that we're going to have so much automated in our workflow of recruiting that it's going to be really scary. Like, AI is
Yeah.
going to be able to go through and look at all the historical data and see like what the successful hires were, and cross reference it with the resumes of these successful hires, and then mine your database and reach out and communicate.
Exactly.
It's going to be crazy. So in the future, really, the what's going to be so important is your data, and is your historical data that you have as a recruiting
Yeah.
company. So us as a 20 plus year old company, we have a ton of clients and a ton of candidates. So I'm waiting here, like, just chomping at the bit for this
Yeah.
to come out, and for this for this revolution to happen. And then yeah, really watch out, world, because it's coming, and it's coming fast, and it's a race. You can see the race happening
Yeah.
between all the big players out there, the Aviantes, the Bullhorns, the
Yeah.
Tracker. Like, they're
100%.
all they're all racing right now to see who's going to be the most cutting edge on the AI side. But it's gonna
Yep.
make everybody's jobs a lot more efficient, I guess. And so we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I can see it. I've been using it a little bit more on the document side too, like uploading documents and being able to analyze documents and spreadsheets and different things like that. So I think it's really interesting the way it's going, and what it's, like you said, so many capabilities. They're just going to help us be more efficient.
Yeah, yeah,
So
it's about data, and like you said, it's about like analyzing data and making the best decisions based on what you have.
yeah, exactly. I guess the outlook for 2024. I know a lot of people in the recruitment sector. It's been 2023 was tough at times for a lot of people in recruitment and staffing, with a lot of changes in the economy and different things. How did you find 2023, and what is your kind of outlook for 2024 as you move into a new year here?
Yeah, 2023 for us, it wasn't a great year. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
it wasn't a great
which is
year.
not some. Yeah,
And
we hear that from most people in staffing.
yeah,
Yeah,
and most of the colleagues that I talked to, everybody kind of talks about being down, and it was kind of the same thing for us. And it was a weird year though, because we still kind of had unlimited orders that were out there, but it was more of a tough year to fill orders, I guess. And for our niche that we're in, it seemed that people were a lot more reluctant to pull the trigger on hiring, but people were
yeah,
also a lot more reluctant to pull the trigger on changing jobs. So there was a lot of tire kicking and a lot of rejected offers. A lot of that happened, but because I think it's a lot of nerves, right? And it kind of goes down to what the
yeah,
media is saying and what's playing, and everybody's scared about the rising interest rates and about a looming
yeah,
recession
exactly.
and everything. So yeah, so 2023 wasn't the greatest. 2024 started off with a bang for us. It's been a good January, but I think that it's going to kind of be a flat holding pattern. And I see that and I hear that from our clients as well. And we're a pretty good barometer on that because we're dealing with the manufacturing sector. So we're a pretty good barometer on what's going to happen with the economy. So I'm guessing kind of a flat holding pattern. And then people will
Yeah,
realize that the sky is not falling and that
exactly.
we're all gonna be okay. The sun's gonna come back out tomorrow, and then we'll see another uptick. But yeah, for the meantime, and it's not a bad thing, right? I think that I think it's good because I think it also it cleans out a lot of the fly by night companies
Yeah,
that can't hack it, and it gets rid of a lot of the bottom feeders in our business. So I think that these kind of pseudo downturns, they do well as long as because the good companies prepare for these and
yeah,
they're ready to weather these storms. I think that the upcoming year is just going to be a flat year, and then I think 2025 we'll start seeing good things.
yeah. That's a lot of similar sentiments to what we're hearing in the industry. So totally makes sense.
Yeah, and the crazy thing now, if I look at my LinkedIn feed, it's you're constantly hearing about like this tech company just laid off a huge number of people, but I'm looking at
Yeah,
my feed and I'm seeing, oh, I've got a new job, I've got a new job, I've got a new job.
yeah,
So it really seems like there's a ton of hiring that's going on right now. So I'm not and across all kinds of spaces. So who knows? I mean, I wish I had a crystal ball and I wish I knew what what the future held. But yeah, who knows?
yeah, totally. We like to talk about in this podcast like times that were tough or time, be real about business because it's not always just, our podcast title is The Growth Game, but the reality is that there's peaks and valleys, challenges with every business. So I guess what are some, or do you have any stories to relate where you kind of came up against a major challenge over the 20 years of running a business and kind of how you worked through that, mentally and within the organization? Anything like that you'd like to share that could help inspire young entrepreneurs or people in their businesses that are going through difficult challenges with their own business?
Yeah, I mean, there's always challenges. Like we're in the business of dealing with people, right?
Yeah,
We sell people for a living.
yeah,
Are the unknown variable. Probably our biggest challenges over the year are human resource challenges,
yeah,
like challenges with internal staff of whatever has come up, challenges with recruiting our own staff. Even though we're a recruiting company, and I'm pretty sure almost every recruiting company out there would tell you the same thing, is that we suck at recruiting our own people. We
I've
really
heard
do.
that. I've heard that
It's
from other
yeah,
clients. Yeah,
yeah. We should be experts. Like we should be experts at recruiting,
yeah,
but we're not. Yeah, so I think that our biggest challenges over the year have been kind of HR challenges in dealing with people, not just dealing with our own people, but also dealing with like temporary workers that we'll have out on assignment or contractors that we have out on assignment. And then you've got the challenges that are out of your control, kind of like what we were just talking about, the challenges of the economy, the challenges of COVID, things that you got to realize. And as an entrepreneur and as another business owner, you got to realize that you got to play with the hand you're dealt. There's gonna be all kinds of things that are completely out of your control, but you got to focus on what you can control, and
yeah,
you got to put that kind of effort and put that kind of put that kind of emphasis on what you can control. And I see that a lot of our employees, and I see a lot of people making that mistake out there, where they start focusing on things that are out of their control. They're focusing on how much money their colleagues making. They're focusing on all just kind of weird things that really have nothing to do with them, instead of just staying in their lane, put your head down and just and get it done.
yep. No, it totally makes sense. I think just where I was going to go with it is it's obvious by the way you talk, the way you innovate, your management style. It's like you're constantly wanting to learn and grow as a business leader, have your organization, the people in your organization continue to learn and grow. I guess from our perspective and from what I've seen, it is those people that are really hungry to learn to innovate, to continue to take in more knowledge and change and evolve are the ones that really can navigate all of the ups and downs. I guess so. How would you share that learning in itself is an integral part of your journey and your business and the people that you have under your management?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I can't stress enough how important it is for continuous learning and training for your staff. Like for us, we both like our offices we're all open concept. We're open concept, and even like every single level, top to bottom, everybody's out in a pseudo bullpen, and we set it up that way for continual learning. Like I want our brand new recruiter to be able to hear what our 20-year veteran is saying. And the way I like to say it is they're stealing from the best. And
Yeah,
it's really the greatest way for them to learn and to experience. And we have such a supportive culture here with our company is that our veterans, they'll see that there may be a struggle with some of our newer people, or even they don't even have to be new people, and they'll be there
yeah,
to lend a hand and to offer suggestions. And so I think that for us, like that's so important, is having that open concept. And it kind of takes down barriers as well, where it shows that kind of I want everybody to seem like they're at the same level as they're in our company.
yeah,
I don't want all these different hierarchies. I want Joe Schmo to be able to go and talk to Betty Schmo, and like
yep,
and not have any fear of going and thinking that they're too high in too high of a position to talk to them. So the open concept office has really helped with the learning and with taking down those barriers, and it's really helped with our culture of kind of sharing and collaborating as well.
yeah.
Personally, for me, for learning, yeah, like since I graduated, I've been in continual learning as well. Like I got my CPC designation right away, to certified personnel consultant. And the reason I do all this too is because I want credibility by putting these letters behind my name, and I want to be able to
Yeah.
differentiate myself from all the other recruiters that are out there and all the other business owners that are out there. So I got those letters early. And then I enrolled in a course, the human capital strategist, and I got the HCS letters behind my name. And then more recently in 2021, I enrolled in an MBA course. I didn't do your traditional MBA. I actually enrolled in an MBA based out of India.
Okay.
I did some research on some of the top schools, and I went for an online school in India, which is one of the top schools, and I did that for continual learning. I wanted to learn more. If I'm going to operate a company and own a company out of India, I want to know the business laws in India. I want to know
Yeah.
the accounting practices in India. I also want to be able to network with people who are coming out of an MBA program in India. So I ended up graduating from the MBA last year, I guess. So I've got these letters now behind my name. So it's kind of a continual learning. What's going to be next? I have absolutely no idea, but I fully support the continual learning, and it's kind of like the innovation, right? It's your own way of
Yeah.
of personally of personally innovating.
Yeah. That's awesome. I really like the point about with your team, like just showing them that all their I guess their opportunities are aligned and what they're trying to accomplish. They're all aligned, working together. Like the saying, a rising tide raises all boats. Like they're all in it together, and it's not this like spirit of competition of one against another. And I think that is really so important in a culture.
Yeah, it is, but also I think you can't discount the competition side of things. Like I
That's
think that
true. Yeah, it's
I think
both.
that I
Yeah,
think that I think that there's such thing as healthy competition between in our
definitely.
office, and we need like we thrive on healthy competition as well.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Awesome. Well, finally, for our listeners like who aspire to grow in their careers, maybe follow a similar path within the recruitment sector, or just growing a business. Do you have any final wisdom or advice you think you'd like to share with our viewers?
Oh man, I could go on forever with
Yeah,
this question. I could absolutely go on forever. Yeah, I've been so fortunate to kind of learn so much from so many people that I've kind of surrounded myself with, like at all levels of our company, at people who I've met through the industry, at people that we have on our podcast, on our Steal from the Best podcast. So yeah, I've been really fortunate about that. Well, I guess the things that I'd like to stress is that like honesty and integrity are they're so key to business and life. I got a good story about that. Is that my kid, my older son, who's 15, he's working. He's got a little side hustle where he'll buy vintage clothing now and pick it up for kind of pennies on the dollar, and then resell it at like 15x or 10x or some
Yeah.
crazy multiples. But 2 days ago, he had sold a pair of retro overalls, and the way he had it set up is that he would leave them on the front porch, and somebody would come out and somebody would come and pick them up and either leave money in the mailbox or email him money. But
Yeah.
somebody came and just stole them and walked away. And that was his first experience of kind of being really deflated and really hurt.
Yeah.
But so I posted something out on LinkedIn about that after that happened, and a great kind of a great analogy came from Kevin D, contact of mine, who said that yeah, there's people out there who suck, and it's like, you know what, you're totally right, and I've experienced that just dealing with people over the
Yeah.
years of our career, that there's people that suck. But it's being able to kind of put your head around that, and realizing that you're gonna encounter these people, and getting past it and being able to move on to the next thing is the important thing. But back to the story, that was a perfect example as well of learning from your failures.
Yeah.
My our son now, he's able to kind of look back at his selling process. I mean, hey, you know what, maybe this isn't the best way to do it. Maybe I should be getting money up front before I sell to people.
Yeah.
And it was very timely because last week I just written off all of our bad debt, so it was like, buddy, just be thankful
Yeah.
that your numbers are this, these are, you want to see my numbers, here we go. But yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, but I really liked what Kevin said when he said that there's people out there that suck. So that's one thing. But then the other thing is that you got to take care of yourself first. Really, when it comes down to your physical health, it's so important to be physically healthy out there. A healthy body is a healthy mind. And when you're showing up to work, to be able to be well rested, to be prepared to take on things, it's being able to perform at peak levels. So you've really got to take care of number one, and be physically healthy.
Yeah.
So I'm a huge proponent of, and I'm constantly stressing it with our employees that, hey, you know what, get some steps in today, take some time for yourself, meditate, do some yoga, like all those kinds of things. Big proponent of that. And
Yeah.
also I'm a huge proponent of prioritizing your family and your really good friends first, because at the end of the day, those are going to be the people who are going to support you when the times are tough, and those are going to be
Yeah.
the people who are going to be in your corner, who are going to be your biggest cheerleaders, and celebrate with you. Because sometimes, I mean, it really does get lonely at the top, so you really have to prioritize those people in your lives. I kind of laugh at the people who are out there bragging about spending 90 hours a week at the office and working,
Yeah.
thinking that's so awesome. I was like, is that really awesome? You know what? I'm gonna
Yeah.
like.
Why?
What's awesome is me being able to cut out mid-afternoon to watch my kid's high school hockey game. Like, that is awesome. Me being able to
Exactly.
cut out to
Yeah.
watch my kid in their holiday concert. Like, that is
Yeah.
that is what's awesome, and that's really what I think people should prioritize in life. Because I mean, we're only here for a finite time, so take
It's
advantage
true.
take advantage of that. And I guess one final, sorry, I kind of rambling on with this, but I mean,
No, it's great.
I'd love to spend hours talking about this.
Yeah.
But one final thing is that it's important to help people around you, not necessarily by people asking for your help, but proactively helping people around you. It really is. It's a boomerang effect. Like, the more you support those people around you, the more it comes back and enriches your own life. And that's just not it's not a business only thing. It's a life thing as well.
It's true. Brad, well, such great learning moments here for everybody. We really appreciate you coming on the Growth Game podcast and appreciate you coming today. And just wanted to thank you again.
Yeah, my pleasure, Greg. It's really happy to join you, and wish you all the best with your podcast. Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you.